Hello and welcome to Monday to all of you out there. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I had a lovely weekend. Did you have a nice weekend, Lisa?
I had a very chilled weekend, which was really good. Yeah.
Vibes throughout everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been busy doing, so I had a bit of a being weekend.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So just, good morning to you all. I miss this. And actually, Saturdays and Sundays when I'm not doing this, I'm like, what am I going to do? And I try myself to have a lay-in and it doesn't happen. I'm up like I want to broadcast and it So I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be talking to Lisa about facilitating change. Obviously we're in the middle of coronavirus, that massive pandemic. So for those of you that are watching this on catch up later on, that's where we're at right now. And on Sunday, our leader is going to be telling us how this looks like coming out of it. So we're in a situation where we're possibly going to have some worries, some stress, some overwhelm as to what this is going to look like. And I thought, who was the most perfect person to just bust that out for you? And it was Lisa. Lisa and I met in Public Speakers University. And actually, she's got me out of my own way a few times. And we've been and I'm like, I can't do it. And she's like, yes, you can. Get out and get it done. So I thought she'd be the perfect person to bring on to chat you through what's going to be happening within yourselves over the next few weeks. So hi, Lisa. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, everybody. It's absolutely brilliant to be here. My name's Lisa King and I'm a speaker. I'm a mentor. I'm now a published author, which is really cool. And and I help people to unmask their true selves. So it's all about looking at who you are, what you truly want, and how you can get there. And one of those elements is change. And I help people because change can be really quite tough for some people. And I'm going to use I've just realized this actually color coordinates, which is quite cool. Not on purpose. I'm going to use this to explain a little bit as to how change, because some people are quite visual. So I'm going to use this, but it's about helping people with change, understanding that change can be difficult and how to work on the mindset with change.
I think a lot. So for the people in the room today, we've got two camps. We've got salon owners and we've got stylists. And salon owners are going to be worrying about inflicting change upon their teams. Yeah. Stylists are going to be worried about what's coming to change their norm in what they do. And I think everyone's a little bit like, what do we do? How do we accommodate this in the right way for the best benefits of everybody, but also within the guidelines that we don't even know what they even are yet because we haven't been told. So, okay, band. What's the band? I'm loving it.
Okay, so I saw this band at a gentleman called Ryan Pinnock. He used it in a different concept. So I used this because I looked at this and I thought this is a really good tool to use to explain about comfort zone and change. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's use your audience or one of the audience, well, actually all of them. So let's say on Sunday we get the go-ahead that we can start filtering back in, whatever that looks like. What's going to happen is because our brains we are programmed to want to be kept safe for what's familiar. So anything that's different to that is going to immediately bring up, for want of a better word, fears. Fear of lots of the unknown, lots of different things. And there are 6 human needs, and one of them is certainty. Now, if you're somebody who, likes routine, likes things to be the same, don't like change, this is a big deal. So it's really to show you how you can do things one step at a time. So let me show you this back. So can you see it first and foremost? I'm trying to work out the best place. So if I do it here, okay, what you do, let's say, for example, for everybody that's listening live or on replay, think of something that you No is coming up that you know, whether it's returning to work or a new thing that you've got to do. And what's going to happen is, at the moment you're here, so you're in your comfort zone and things are okay. And then come Sunday, we get an announcement that we've got to go back and nobody knows what that is. That's going to be stretching our uncertainty. So what happens is when you get to the point where you're just about to step outside your comfort zone, the alarm bells will start going off. And what will happen is you're at this point here and now you have a choice. Because I'm a big believer, we always have a choice, always. So you're at this point now and you think, right, okay, I can either do, you know, I can either run back to what I'm used to and go back to here. So the band comes back into what your comfort zone is and your safety area. Or you can stay here and say, right, okay, I've got to accept that change is here because change is a constant. There's always change. So it's about saying, right, okay, what I've got to do is I've got to communicate how I'm feeling with whether that's the salon owner or my peers. And what you do is you say, right, okay, this is going to be change and this is going to be different. But what I need to do is I need to accept it and just push myself a tiny bit further. So that band stretches. So your comfort zone is stretching a little bit rather than going back here. Because if you come back here, you'll always get to this point, feel that uncertainty. And if you don't push yourself further, your start point will always be here. Whereas if you have a situation and you reach this point here and you say, right, what I'm going to do is accept what's going on and I'm going to just take myself out my comfort zone. Can you see it? Okay. What will happen is the next time you come to that situation, you're not starting here, you're starting here. So that comfort zone expands. Yeah. And then you can stretch it a little bit more and a bit more. And that's how confidence grows around change. So I use that visual because does that help? Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I sort of say to clients is just take one step at a time because change is always there.
So what happens, I love that you have a choice, you know, you have that choice and you can either not make such a huge thing about this and just sit with it and deal with it. Like Lisa said, one step at a time. I said that right from the beginning of this whole thing that happens, you know, 24 hours at a time, one step, 1 hour, like that. That's how we're having to work this because we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's coming. And if we start going into the future too much and thinking too much about what could be going on, we're going to come back into that elastic when that happens, aren't we? We're going to freak out, come back, not want to resist.
Overwhelm is huge.
I'm gonna even me, I have loved being at home, seeing my children. Like I've never spent this much time with my kids. It's been phenomenal. And I love this little setup that I've made. I've moved from my office because my home office is quite dark and I didn't enjoy being in there. So I've made a little setup in actually, it's in my bedroom.
Right. I'm in my living room now. Yeah, I've done the same.
Because I love it here. It's such beautiful energy in this space.
Yeah.
And, you know, I actually thinking, as soon as I heard about the Sunday thing, like, oh, do I want to go back to work? I'm already thinking that. You know, let's bust that elephant right out in the room right now.
Yeah.
Thinking that. But the truth is, if we don't go back to work, money doesn't come in.
Yeah.
So we have to. So we're going to have a lot of stylists feeling like that. So what can we do as a stylist to be getting ourselves prepared and ready and wanting to move forward back into the new norm?
Okay. What I would suggest is there's going to be a few things that are going to come up. We are going to compare to what it would be or what other people might be doing. One thing I would suggest is go with communicating with people around you. Let people know that it is feeling a bit uncomfortable, and overwhelm may come at some point because everything is so different. So what I would definitely suggest, you touched on looking too far ahead. It's the same with if you focus too much on what was before, or you worry too much about what's coming, you need to be really present. And by being present, you can't be in overwhelm or worrying about, the future or thinking about the past. So if you can be present, I can give you some tips on doing that.
Yeah.
So some really good ways of keeping yourself present are to use your senses. So look around you, whether you're in the salon, wherever you are, look around you at what you can see and verbalize it. Make sure there's nobody standing too close in case they think, what is she doing or he doing? So they might be like, why are you talking to the hairdryer? Who knows?
My new friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Lockdown.
Exactly. So a really good way of being present is to use your senses. So look at what you can see, look at what you can smell as well, and really focus on, and it might be really random, like, look at some hair products and smell them, things like that. And look at what you can touch. So touch the towels around you, touch different things to focus you back into being in that room, because then your brain can't go off into worrying about the future or thinking about the past. So that's definitely one thing that's really good. Also, I think a really good thing is to let go of expectations, because everything has changed. It's not only changed for employees, it's changed for owners, managers. Nobody knows what is going to happen. So if you have expectations of yourself or of others, it's really important to let go of them right now. Yeah. And communicate with everybody. Make sure that you are being honest and letting people know what's going on, because it wouldn't surprise me if other people are feeling exactly the same.
Yeah.
And collaborate. Really important. Work together. You're a unit. Work together as a unit, because the thing is, you're a team. It doesn't matter what the salon down the road is doing. It doesn't matter what anybody's doing online. What matters is what you're doing. Yeah. And if you can adapt as a team and support and collaborate, communicate, and be there for each other, you'll get through this and you'll thrive. You'll thrive through it, because people will see the team within you, and it will make a huge difference.
I love what you just said there. If you think about one of the biggest contributors, is that a word?
Yeah.
To stress and overwhelm today, at present, it's social media sites and checking out what everyone else is doing, comparing ourselves to the salon up the road, to the stylist up the road, to the manager up the road, to the salon owner up the road. And you're right, we have to almost go inside of ourselves and be present in our being and in our body to allow us to show up to serve our clients in a completely different way now, but allowing them to still experience the same quality and the same level of experience that they were experiencing with us before.
Yeah.
And that's going to be hard. I was reading I can't remember whether this salon was in Michigan or Chicago. It was somewhere that way.
Yeah.
Come out of lockdown. And they were saying that, it was their first day. And I love what they're doing. And I'm actually going to pinch this and do this myself, because they were documenting day one. And they're going to document day 2 and day 3 so that everybody else can learn from them, which was just phenomenal. And I'll see if I can share it into the group later on. But they were saying things like, they asked clients to stop in their car and phone the salon to let them know that they were there, because they were only allowed 10 people into the business at once.
Right, okay.
And what they said was that created stress and overwhelm, because the telephone did not stop ringing. Then they were challenged by people popping into the salon to buy products, but they had in the salon. So that was a challenge. Then they were challenged by just people popping in and saying, "Hey, how are you? Like, so nice to see you back." That was a challenge. Then they had issues with clients bringing children and wanting to have their children in the salon. Well, that counts as 2 people.
Yeah.
like there was all these challenges going on, and I loved how they were just literally documenting it. They said plastic capes were crap, don't use them.
Yeah.
Buy loads more of them. So we're able to learn what's happening to them, and they're sharing it in the most beautiful, positive way. So I'm not saying social media is bad, but what I am saying is that when we focus too much on being like somebody else, like I want to be like that salon owner up the road, or I want to be like that stylist up the road, we lose sight of ourselves. Actually, you're very good at bringing me personally back to myself. When I've been in a stressful situation where I've had to go and present, and when we're at Public Speakers University, like it's hard, isn't it? So hard. Like we're given a topic or a strategy, a system that we have to literally, we've given 15-20 minutes to go away and learn it, and then you're in the room presenting to a live audience. And that happens from 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night for 3 days straight. You are
absolutely
on. And so there are times when we have a wobble.
Absolutely.
I can't do it. Like, and you have to bring me back into just being present. And I think that's one of the things you always do for me. You make me stop focusing on everybody else, what they're doing, because I do. I'm like, well, she's really great and he's amazing. And actually it was taking that from you and pulling myself back into thinking it's not about them, it's about what comes out, the message. It's not about me, it's the message. And that obviously enabled me to become an award-winning speaker last time, and I was up against 10x talks. So I was like, so when you think about not trying to be like the person up the road and trying to be you, and how you can give the best possible experience, haircut, hair wash to that one person in front of you, you are in your absolute power. You're standing in your power. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is as well, it's about asking yourself the right questions, because right now you could say, what are we going to do? You know, and it could immediately send your brain into a bit of a fear mongering moment, which I'll cover in a moment. But if you can actually turn around, empowering questions change everything, because statements will close a situation, questions will open it up. So you could turn around and say, right, how can we change ourselves in this situation to get through this and thrive? As opposed to, oh my God, what are we going to do? So, right, how can we, how can we change? How can we adapt? Who do we need to become? What do we need to do to make this a really positive situation? And then the answers will come, because at the moment there's this fear. So you've got fear here and you've got excitement here. And when that happens, you're going to have some people really excited to go back. Yeah, great. Okay. Still not sure what's going on, but I want to get back to work. And then you're going to have some people here going, what's it going to be like? Don't know what we're going back into. And what happens is that will create physical feelings in your body. Okay. And fear and excitement can be very similar. So I'll give you, there's a reason I'll give you this example. It's when you have something fearful come up, okay, and there's something that you really want to do and you're not sure, what you can do is say to yourself, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. I had a huge talk I had to do and it meant so much to me. And it was bringing up all these physical reactions. And this, you can put this into any context. So instead of me saying, oh, I'm really scared about this, because then the brain goes off into the, I'm not good enough to do this, they're doing this, they're doing that. You can look at it and say, I'm excited. I'm excited about the changes that are going to happen. I'm excited to do something different for the clients. I'm excited to see Mrs. Jones that's coming in for her perm, because I haven't seen her for ages. And, you know, if you say I'm excited, the fear won't kick in the head. Okay. So it's a really good tool to use. And remember, you're unique. They come to you for a reason. You know, I can't wait to see my stylist, as you can see. I can't wait. So it's really important to remember that people come to you for a reason. And what you're looking to do now is to not only continue that, but look at how you can adapt and how you can change things to, in addition, move forward and enhance what you're doing.
Absolutely. I had you just reminded me of something that happened last night. So I've got something going on for me at the moment, and I can't tell you just yet, and it's like killing me. I tell everyone, and I can't. And as soon as I can, I will. But I pressed the send button, did something, and thought, okay, I felt total release, fine. When I got into bed, all of a sudden I started to think about it, and I'm not joking you, my heart started pounding, and I could feel it in all of, like, the whole top part of my body, and it wouldn't stop for about 10 minutes. I honestly thought, is my heart going to jump out of my chest? It was going that much. I've never experienced something like that before. And I was like, oh, what's happening? What's wrong with me? Am I about to have a heart attack or something? It was really bizarre. But I think listening to what you've just said, that was fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you can do in that moment is when you're laying there, because when you lay still, that's when you can think. Just before you go to bed is so important, because when we start getting sleepy, that's when we're starting then to go into our subconscious. So that's a really key time. So for you in that moment, you could say, right, I'm excited for XYZ. I'm excited this is happening. And what that will do is it may not calm the physical sensations because they're similar, but it will then ease your mind. So you can then sleep with the excitement rather than the fear.
It's funny. I sat with it, and normally I just don't have the time. I'm so busy. And lockdown has not changed that at all. But it was nice last night to sit and observe it, actually. And it must have been about 10 past, quarter past midnight. And I literally just sat there and was like, oh, okay, this is really strange. And I had forgotten about it until you just said that.
Yeah.
Woke it back up again for me. But it's really bizarre how your body, like you said, enacts what's going on up here physically, takes that and adopts it as what's happening to you right now.
I could talk for hours about the brain and how it works, but in a nutshell, every situation we have it creates like a neural pathway. So it creates like a memory in our brain. So let's say, for example, you had an experience that wasn't particularly great, and it could be something really simple, like a conversation with somebody. What will happen is the next time you see that person, because the last communication was a negative one, what will happen is, if you think, there's so-and-so, immediately the physical reaction in the body is what happened when you first had that negative experience. Wow. Because the brain says, oh, last time it was that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with when we use language. If we use certain language, so let's use the word struggle, for example. I struggle with this, or I struggle with that. What happens? Your body language changes slightly, and your brain remembers where you communicated struggle in your body.
Wow.
It's huge, honestly. It's so it's really, so again, moving forward for the owners and for your group, it's really good to look at how you're using language in this moment. So to look at language rather than this is going to be hard, you could say, right, this is going to be challenging, and this is how I'm going to change it. So if you look at that in that respect as well, it really helps with your physical reactions as well. I know it's a minefield.
I learn so much every time I chat with you.
It's a minefield.
There's so many depths to what you do, isn't there? It's like crazy. And you've just released, you touched on it slightly about being an author, and you kind of brushed over it, but I kind of want to celebrate this with you for a minute. Phenomenal what you've done. Talk to us about the Pay It Forward series.
Okay, so the Pay It Forward series is so this is the third volume that I'm in, and each volume has 18 women from around the world who share a chapter of a pivotal moment, and they write a note back to their younger self.
Amazing.
Yeah, so for me, I had quite a turbulent childhood, shall we say, without going into too much detail. I was domestic violence, assault, lots of things happened. Addictions started when I was 12, lots of things. So my chapter was about the pivotal moments that sort of each added on to become like a giant snowball going down a hill that had to at some point break. So, and then after my partner's death from suicide, I had a breakdown. So that's why I went into looking at mental health and the brain and things like that. So that's the book is a talk about my journey, and we became international best-selling authors. I know, so excited. And they're doing the volume 4, and this will be the last one, volume 4. So just because the Kazir who creates them is doing some wonderful things. So yeah,
she's a phenomenal woman, isn't she?
She is.
I
Yeah.
love what you've created. I'm so excited for you, because to be able to get that opportunity to write back to yourself, geez, that's a big thing. And actually, I did kind of something similar in a business. It wasn't business. That was a personal development course in Dartford a little while ago. And at the end of this course, it was phenomenal. They asked us to write a letter back to ourselves, and they posted it out in 6 months. So it was like, right, what are you going to go home and achieve?
Wow.
And you had to write this letter. Like, they didn't read it. We put it in an envelope, sealed it, and then wrote out on it. And that came through to the salon last week. I wept.
Oh, bless.
I literally wept, because firstly, what a phenomenal thing to happen for that letter to come through, especially
at this time.
And there was only one thing on that letter that I haven't achieved.
Wow, that's just giving me goosebumps.
I know. Like,
that's amazing.
Just it literally made me literally cry, because I was like, oh, I've had such a journey in 6 months. I didn't even realise it, but it forced me to stop and look at that. And I don't think we do that enough, do we?
No, I think the biggest thing I get clients to do is, because I tend to work a lot with people who are at a point where they think, right, something's got to change for me, because, you know, it could be business, could be personal, lots of different things. And one of the first things that I do once we've gone through some things, say, look back at what you've done. And we don't do it enough. And, you know, I did a TEDx in December. And that was but because of everything that's happened, everything's happened, so much has happened in the last 6 months. Somebody said that to me, and they said, write down what you've achieved. And like yourself, you write it down and go, oh my God, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. And we do. And it doesn't have to be huge things. Making a difference to somebody's life, especially now in this time, you ringing somebody and checking on them, you making sure somebody's okay, might seem a little thing to you, but it's life-changing for them. It could be the difference between them getting through this or not.
Yeah.
And I will say it really could be. And I think we need to look at that, how we're impacting people, because, you know, they say about legacies and stuff, your legacy will never finish, because you make an effect on that one person who then does the same for somebody else. That has a ripple effect. So if you look at your teams and you look at everyone around you, look at what you're doing, look at what you can create, and the impact that will have on your clients, who then go home and then have a positive impact on their family, it has a huge ripple effect. So right now, you're going to be communicating with people who have been indoors, who have an opportunity to come back, see a friendly face. And right now, I truly believe that your industry is going to be pivotal.
Yeah.
To being sort of showing one physically, helping people to feel great, because we feel great when we have our hair done, but you're also you're such great connectors for people. And I think this is going to be where you will all come into your own by being yourself and being the person and showing up, because you're the reason they went there in the first place.
Absolutely. I pointed to this when you said that. I don't know.
Drop.
Yeah. So I wanted to become a one dropreneur, and it's about this one drop, just one connection at a time, being that one drop for one person every day, so that you can help them achieve their dreams. And I notice these around people's necks all the time now. It's really funny. I was chatting to before I did the live with Bob Doyle the other day. Tracy came on and she was like, "Hey Jennifer," and I was like, then all of a sudden she just went, "Oh my God, you're wearing a one drop." I was like, "Yes, I am." And she's part of the one drop movement as well. And having that there every day to remind me, to get up and serve, whether that's serving in helping salon owners understand their marketing and their Instagram, or whether that's serving my guests in the salon and giving them a phone call. Like, I'm still myself, out of all this craziness that I'm creating behind the scenes for you guys here, I'm still phoning my guests every day. Like, I literally pick a list every day and I work through that list and phone them every day. And they're all so grateful for just having that connection and that hello.
And it shows you're thinking about them in that moment. For somebody to know they're being thought about, whether it's a text, whatever it is, that makes a difference to people.
Massively.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And they're loving that reach out. And I'm loving doing it, because it's like, oh, I missed you so much. Yeah. So lovely. And we've got a quick question, but before we hit that question, I just want to touch on the fact that last night, guys, we hit 1,000 in the group. Excited. I was like, oh my God, we hit that 1,000. I haven't got a cup of tea even. It's gone cold. So I was working late last night creating something for you, and I will do you a little video and pop that into the group later. So watch out for that. But I just want to make sure I get this question in for Facebook user. It's not showing me your name, unfortunately. But hi, Lisa. I'm high risk vulnerable, and I'm finding it challenging about my return to work. How can I turn this fear into positive thoughts, Bex? That's a challenge.
Okay. Hi, Bex. Thank you so much for the question. It's when it is high risk as well, it's obviously you've got the thoughts of health as well. So what I would suggest is do everything that you can first and foremost to make sure that physically you're protecting yourself. So whatever it is that you feel is important, do it. It doesn't matter about what anyone else is doing. Do what you need to do for you to make sure you feel safe in that moment physically. And what I would suggest with regards to the fear and the thoughts is we are designed to like what's familiar. So there is going to be the band. So for you, Bex, what it could be is that your band is something smaller. So it could be that you start looking at your language and start saying, right, I am okay, I am safe, I am looking forward to going back. All these different things with language is really important, because what that does is it starts showing up for our brains that actually we're okay. And if you say these to yourselves on a regular basis, always my I ams, always. Because what they do is that positive affirmations, they are so powerful, so powerful. So what I would say is say to yourself, right, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm safe. Do the physical protection. And then when I spoke about the fear and the excitement, Bex, with regards to them feeling the same, so I would start looking at that. So when something shows up physically, because I don't know if Bex is still on the line, is there a physical reaction, Bex, that comes up? Because what you can do is say, I'm safe and I'm looking forward to going back to work. I'm safe, and keep saying it, because then what will happen is it will help from stopping the brain going into the autopilot.
Yeah. Something that one of my mentors has put in place for me. So I walk my dog every morning and every evening, and while I'm walking my dog, I'm saying my positive affirmations. And that's alone. That's just me and my pup. You know, I don't let anyone else in on that time. That is my time to, you know, every day my life becomes more and more abundant. I've got a whole stream of stuff that the whole 20 minutes that I'm walking, I am saying and affirming in my head. And my mentor has put in place that I have something else that I say now when I wake up and when I go to sleep. So I wake up with that intention and I put myself to bed with that intention. So that I'm manifesting it through the evening or through my sleep. And that's really, really helped me actually, because it's really focused me in. And part of it is to do with this, you know, please guide me to show up for somebody today and help them to become the best version of themselves. And you know, and having something physical, I think, has changed the game a bit for me, because I wake up, I'm like, I don't know, like I want to just hold that and think about what I want to achieve for somebody else that day. So it might be that you have a crystal or a stone or something that you like holding. We'll do it. My candle's burning and I've got my incense. I keep worrying that you're going to see wafts of smoke coming through.
I'm going to start doing smoke signals with a blanket. Bex, one thing I would say as well is that last thing at night and first thing in the morning, it's the first sort of 20 minutes of our day. Our brain is in a different wavelength. So we're in that process of waking up or going to sleep. That's, you know, it's really important to get something regular. Consistency is really, really key. And use the being present that I spoke about earlier. Use your senses and make yourself safe. But also remember, the first thing in the morning, if you can do these positive affirmations and do that in that moment, because that's when our brains are at that point of saying, right, okay, I'm going to take more in now. Start the day on a really positive manner, you know, and do that every day. And it really does help. And it will become like an automatic behavior. So I really hope that helped. Bexy, yes, I will try these. Thank you. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. And I'll put my email address in the group as well, Bex. So if you want to stay in touch, please do.
Excellent. I'd love you to do that, Lisa. Thank you so much. Right, well, I'm going to go off and create a video for you all because, like I said, we reached 1,000. And so I've created something that I think will be very good for helping you guys when you go back to work in your marketing. So that you're clear and you can go back and run with it, because I want you guys to show up as the place to be when we open back up again. So I'm going to go and do a video for you now. Lisa, thank you.
You are so welcome
for being here with us today and giving us your expertise. I really appreciate what you've done here. And I appreciate you. I love you so much.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it's been so cool. When you said about coming on, I was like, yay. I'm just pleased that I've been able to give some guidance and help. And I'll put my email address in the group as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, lots of love to you.
Yeah, and you.
And thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you're watching this on replay, it's the 4th of May, the title in this, and I will title the video the same so that you can find that easily to see what the hell was going on. Right, lots of love to you all. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Bye, bye, bye.